My daughter cut me off after the divorce and let her mother convince her I was nothing but a wallet for child support. Years later, she came back demanding an inheritance, only for a buried DNA test and old court records to expose a truth that changed everything. Hello, Reddit I+ here. I never thought I would be the kind of person writing a novel-length post on Reddit I+, but this story has been sitting in my chest for years. It deserves to be told from my side, start to finish, because for a long time I was painted as a villain when the truth was buried under lies, paperwork, and one small envelope that no one thought would matter. I married my ex-wife when I was 28. She was charming, ambitious, and very good at appearing warm in public. We had a daughter 2 years later. From the moment my daughter was born, I did everything I knew how to do. I worked long hours, paid for everything, attended school events, learned how to braid hair badly, and slept on the floor next to her bed when she had fevers. I thought we were a normal family with normal problems. The marriage began to crack when my daughter was around 8. My ex-wife started staying out late. She guarded her phone like it was a state secret. When I asked questions, I was accused of being controlling. When I suggested counseling, she laughed and said therapy was for weak men who could not handle strong women. The divorce happened fast. She filed first. She asked for full custody, the house, child support, and spousal support. I fought for joint custody. I wanted to be present. I did not want to be a weekend visitor in my own child's life. The court sided mostly with her. I paid child support without missing a single payment. I paid extra when I could. School supplies, clothes, medical bills. I kept receipts for everything even when my lawyer said it was unnecessary. Something in my gut told me I would need proof one day. What broke me was not the money. It was my daughter changing. At first she still called me. Then the calls slowed. Then she stopped answering my messages. When I showed up for my scheduled weekends, she acted distant. She repeated phrases that did not sound like her. She said things like, "You only care about money," or "Mom says you never wanted me." I tried to talk to her. I tried therapy for the two of us. My ex-wife refused to bring her half the time. The therapist documented it. I kept copies. By the time my daughter turned 13, she told me she did not want to see me anymore. She said I was just a wallet. She said child support was all I was good for. She said if I really loved her, I would not fight her mother in court. I remember sitting in my car after that conversation, hands on the steering wheel, unable to breathe. I still sent cards. I still sent birthday gifts. Most came back unopened. When she turned 18, the payments stopped. So did the last thread connecting us. For years there was nothing. No calls, no messages, no graduation invite. I watched from a distance through social media until I blocked it for my own sanity. I moved to a smaller place. I focused on work. I built a quiet life. I told myself that someday she might come back when she was older and able to think for herself. That day did come. She showed up at my door when she was 25. She did not ask how I was. She did not apologize. She did not even sit down before telling me why she was there. She said she needed to talk about my will. She said her mother told her I had done well financially and that as my only child, she was entitled to an inheritance. She said it was only fair after all the money I had been forced to pay. I stared at her. She looked like an adult version of the little girl I used to carry on my shoulders. Same eyes. Same expression when she was frustrated. I asked her one question. Do you know why your mother and I divorced? She said because you were selfish and did not want to be a real father. Something inside me finally snapped, but not in anger, in clarity. I told her there was something she needed to see. I went to my safe and pulled out a folder I had not opened in years. Inside were court records, therapy notes, payment receipts, and one sealed envelope. I told her about the affair. She laughed and said that was a lie her mother warned her I would tell. Then I opened the envelope. During the divorce, my lawyer had advised a DNA test. There were inconsistencies, dates that did not line up. I did not want to believe it, but I agreed. The results came back after the custody ruling. My lawyer said we could reopen the case. I said no. The test said there was zero biological relation. I never told anyone. Not my ex-wife. Not my daughter. I continued paying child support. I continued fighting for visitation. I continued loving a child who was not biologically mine because biology did not matter to me. I slid the paper across the table. She went pale. She said her mother never told her. She said, there must be a mistake. I showed her the lab information, the dates, the court timestamp. I showed her messages from years ago where my ex-wife admitted the affair to a friend, thinking it would never leave that conversation. Then I showed her the part that hurt the most. Court documents where my ex-wife tried to block a paternity challenge because child support would stop. Silence filled the room. She started crying, not quietly, not politely. She cried like someone whose entire reality just collapsed. She asked me why I never told her. I told her the truth. Because I was your dad in every way that mattered. Because I did not want you to feel unwanted. Because I thought protecting you was more important than protecting myself. She asked about the inheritance again, but this time her voice was shaking. I told her something she did not expect. I said I never planned to leave money to someone who only saw me as a bank account. I said inheritance is not a right. It is a reflection of a relationship. She stayed for hours. She asked questions. She apologized. She admitted her mother had coached her for years, telling her that I resented her, that I paid support angrily, that I would abandon her the moment payments stopped. I told her I did not know what our relationship would look like going forward. I told her trust takes time. I told her that money would not fix what was broken. Before she left, she asked if I still considered her my daughter. I said yes. But being a daughter means more than showing up when you think there is something to collect. We are in contact now, slowly. Therapy is involved. Boundaries are firm. I updated my will, but not in the way she expected. I set up a conditional trust tied to rebuilding a genuine relationship. Not obligation, not guilt, not pressure. Her mother has not spoken to me since. According to mutual acquaintances, she is furious that the truth came out. I do not feel victorious. I feel tired. I feel sad for the years we lost. But for the first time, I feel like my story exists outside the lies. If you are a parent being painted as nothing but a wallet, document everything. Keep your receipts, keep your records, and never assume the truth will stay buried forever. I thought that meeting would be the end of it. I really did. I believed that once the truth was out, once the shock wore off, everyone would retreat and process what they had done. I underestimated how desperate people become when money is involved. A week after my daughter came to my house, I got the first call from my ex-wife in years. She did not start with an apology. She did not ask how I was. She went straight into anger. She accused me of poisoning her child against her. She said I had manipulated the situation. She claimed the DNA test was fake and illegal. She threatened to sue me for emotional distress. I hung up. The next move came through my daughter. She texted paragraphs at a time. She said her mother was struggling financially. She said college debt was crushing her. She said it would be fair for me to help since I had done well. She framed it as reconciliation, but every message circled back to money. I replied once. I said I was open to rebuilding a relationship. I said financial demands were off the table. I said any further discussion would need to happen with a therapist present. That was when the tone changed. My ex-wife hired a lawyer. I was served papers claiming I owed retroactive compensation for emotional abandonment and that the DNA test should be invalidated due to timing. They even tried to argue that because I had acted as a father, I was financially obligated indefinitely. It was absurd. My lawyer was calm. He told me this was not uncommon. He told me to let the process work. Court was almost anticlimactic. We submitted the DNA results. We submitted the therapy records showing alienation. We submitted proof that I paid support voluntarily even after I could have legally stopped. We submitted the messages where my ex-wife pressured my daughter to demand money and inheritance. The judge did not raise his voice. He did not need to. He dismissed their claims in less than 15 minutes. He warned my ex-wife about frivolous litigation. He reminded her that the law does not reward manipulation. He looked at my daughter and told her that adulthood comes with accountability. Outside the courthouse, they tried one last time. My ex-wife cried. Loudly. She said she had done everything for her child. She said I was cruel for exposing the truth. She said I owed them peace. My daughter stood there silent, watching both of us. I said something I had practiced for years, but never thought I would actually say out loud. I said I was done. I said I would not be attending any more hearings. I said I would not be responding to demands. I said any future contact would go through my lawyer only. My daughter asked if that meant I was cutting her off forever. I told her no. I told her it meant I was choosing myself for the first time in decades. I told her that if she wanted a relationship, it would have to be built on honesty and effort, not pressure and entitlement. That was the last conversation we had in person. After that, the manipulation attempts became obvious. Guilt messages, sudden health scares from her mother, stories about bills, subtle hints about how other fathers help their children financially well into adulthood. I did not respond. I blocked numbers. I filtered emails. I instructed my lawyer to shut everything down. Something unexpected happened when the noise stopped. I felt lighter. I stopped replaying old arguments in my head. I stopped wondering what I could have done differently. I accepted that I had done more than most people ever would have in my position. Months passed. I moved, new place, new routines. I started traveling again. I reconnected with friends I had isolated myself from during the years of fighting. I laughed without feeling guilty. I slept better. I updated my will one final time. No conditions, no explanations, just clarity. I left a letter, not about money, but about boundaries, self-respect, and consequences. Whether it is ever read is not my responsibility anymore. I do not hate my daughter. I do not wish her harm. I hope one day she understands that love is not proven by payments or inheritance. As for my ex-wife, she no longer exists in my life. No court, no calls, no leverage, just silence and peace. Sometimes moving on does not come with closure or reconciliation or forgiveness. Sometimes it comes when you finally stop trying to be understood by people who only hear what benefits them. That was my ending, and for the first time, it feels like a beginning.